with making stuff and jacked up. Making stuff and jacked up.
So much.
Making stuff and jacked up. Making stuff and jacked up.
Let it go. You say, get out of the way. Get
Play my
bitchy.
music. Put it right on my gums. So much.
Someone's killing these people, trust me.
You're listening to Meadows and Makers podcast.
With Jack Dub and making stuff. Peace.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another week of the Meadows and Makers podcast here on MSP Waves. It is a pleasure to be with you guys today, this lovely Saturday. It is getting hot outside, and the weather is very accommodating for at least getting a little bit of sun, but spending some time in the shade. So I appreciate you all being here, and let me get all my housekeeping done up front here. Peachy Mod, welcome. Patient Zero, Rondon, thanks for being here. And we'll get the show kicked off with the disclaimer, which is the views and the opinions that are expressed on this show are those of myself and those of my guests, and they do not reflect on MSP Waves and the great people that run this whole operation. So if you have any issues or complaints or any of that stuff, send them my way. Suggestions, those kind of things. If you just wanna yell at me for a little bit, go for it. I've been chewed out before. I can take it. But welcome. This is a show that I do every Saturday here on the PAL Discord server, and it is all about people that are maker types, DIYers, self-reliant type people. I try to bring some people on that I see on the Steemian blockchain and in my personal life. People I've met to just kind of be an inspiration to show you that it's not all doom and gloom out there. There's a lot of good things going on in the world, and there's a lot to be hopeful about the future. And so we also have a lot of power as human beings. So that's my goal with this show, and the mantra for my show that I want everybody to keep in their heart is, and tell yourself, is that I will be an inextinguishable light of possibilities for myself and others. And so if we can all kind of adopt that and start moving forward, and I think we can move forward in a better direction. So thank you all for being here. And I got I got a guest lined up today that I was able to line him up kind of last minute, but we've been talking for a little bit. I wanted to get him on the show. He was part of one of my weekly curations, and I caught wind of him through one of my weekly curations, and he's doing some really nice DIY videos, and he's a very recent member to Steemit, so everybody give him a warm welcome on Steemit. But his name is SL Gamer Guy, and he has put out some really cool videos, and I've been going through his profile, looking at some of his videos, and he is a very like-minded individual, it looks like, and so we're going to get to know him better today and get to chat with him. So without further ado, let me bring on SL Gamer Guy. So let me unmute you here. Hey, SL Gamer Guy, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I am doing well, sir. I'm doing a little bit of recovery from working out in the heat this week, pretty much all week. So it's kind of nice to be able to do the podcast right now with you and hang out in not 100-degree weather.
Yeah, it's been pretty hot around here as well.
Okay.
It got up to 98 yesterday.
Okay, so are you down in the South, I guess, I'm assuming?
Yeah, in Louisiana.
Ooh, man, yeah, you guys got it like to the nth degree. I'm up here. I'm a little north of you in Alabama.
Yeah, it gets cooking down here in the bayou.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, if you want to give us a little bit of background about yourself and how you found your way to the whole dtube and Steemit, if you want to give us a little rundown on who you are.
Well, I actually started in YouTube a couple years back, making gaming videos. YouTube channel, same name, SL Gamer Guy. And there's just a bunch of gaming videos on there, I think like 105. And then the YouTube channel sort of evolved with me. I decided I'm a DIYer, so whatever I was doing, I figured I would film it and upload it, show people what was happening. And the way that I actually found dtube was one day YouTube said all of my videos were not suitable for children, so they put restricted mode. I'm pretty sure that's what they call it on.
Oh, no
and
way.
Of course, I pride myself on the family-friendly channel. Anyone can watch it and hopefully enjoy. And that was sort of the last straw. So I was looking around, found dtube, made an account, and I think the first video I ever uploaded, that DIY TV antenna, I was amazed at how well it did, and just the great community surrounding it. That's sort of how I got here.
Oh, very cool, sir. Yeah, that's awesome. So, that is incredible. That I didn't even know that they were cracking down on people that are streaming video games. So, yeah. I guess it's they took down your channel for that?
They didn't take it down. They put like I said, I think it's called restricted mode, where you have to be logged into an account that's over 18 to view them. I don't know if the videos are still that way, but for a few weeks, that's how it was before I pretty much just moved on to DTube.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
And
so, go ahead.
They took my monetization. They said my channel was still monetized for 2 months, and I got an email from them saying, yeah, actually about that, you weren't monetized ever, even though we reviewed your account.
Wow,
So,
that is crazy. Even people, it's gone that far.
yeah, and I guess their customer service is just not there.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a lot of why a lot of us are here on Steam, is because of our views and mostly political views, but one of our big guys and the guy that started this whole Discord server, Aggroed, he started to speak out. But I mean, you're not even getting political. You're just trying to stream games and stuff. And that's incredible how far they've gone with the outright just trying to keep people safe from the world, I guess. They're trying to be like the overall nannies of everybody, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, and it wasn't just gaming videos. It was even just like update video vlogs, DIY stuff. My entire channel just got put on age restriction.
Wow.
With no further warning. They didn't send me an email saying this is why. Couldn't contact them. So I just might still be age restricted, might not be. I have no clue. Happened a couple months ago, and yeah, it was just sort of the last straw for me.
Yeah, no kidding. So yeah, I did see your post a while back that said that you're going to switch to dtube and steam it, and it sounds like could you talk a little bit about like how that onboarding process worked for you, and what were your troubles? I know a lot of people, if they're creating a new account, can have some issues. And did it take a little while for you to get your account, or were you able to get it right away?
It took about 2.5 to 3 weeks for my account to be verified. I think that's what you would call it.
Yeah.
And that was sort of interesting, as I've never had to have an account reviewed before it was up. So that was just something new. And I did have some problems at the beginning with it wouldn't allow me to leave comments. It gave an error.
Yeah.
It was a general error. It didn't even say what was up. And I still have to occasionally sign out and sign back in to upload. So it's just a few minor technical problems. But besides that, it's pretty much YouTube, but not.
Yeah. So one of the big things on dtube, and Rondon just pulled it up, but yeah, we can get pretty technical here. There's a lot going on, but I would strongly encourage you to start getting involved in some of these communities. And right here in PAL is a really great community of people that can help with any of your questions or anything like that. And a lot of people are willing to help you out and getting started here. And reach out to me anytime too, getting started here on the platform. Yeah, dtube is different than YouTube, where YouTube has those centralized servers that are storing all your video data. On dtube, they're using their backbone for storing all that information on the interplanetary file sharing network. And so there are services that you can use to help store your files, or you can actually set up your own IPFS node and host your own files. And that's kind of important if you wanted to, really start becoming a quality creator on dtube. It's the dtube is still growing, like you said. It's got issues, and it's more about kind of being able to host your files yourself instead of keeping it in a centralized location and being able to be cut off like YouTube can do.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that's what IPFS stood for, and I'm very new to this.
Yeah.
It's not on one central server; it's distributed.
Right. So you can think of it as like Napster and like kind of like BitTorrent a little bit. And so you have a bunch of peers that are hosting the files. And so if one of those nodes in the IPFS system goes down, then you still have those other peers that have those files running and stored on their computers. So when you pull it up, it loads faster, and you're able to, just like in BitTorrent, when you have enough peers that are hosting the files, you can download it faster. So the IPFS works in this similar way.
Yeah, that's it's really interesting. It's kind of like what's it called? I think it's the Tails Project, if you know what that is. It's the
Yeah,
sort of, yeah.
I'm
Don't know how you would
somewhat
describe it.
I'm somewhat familiar with it. I know that they're using it on a program, Free the Net or Freos. They're using a Tails. I think it's an operating system, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's what was it called? It was originally ARPANET for the Navy, and then I guess the Navy handed it over to civilians for some reason or another, and now it's Tails OS.
Gotcha. Yeah, because that was the history of the development of the internet, was so that we could have a secured communications network for military purposes. So
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything civilian at one point in time probably was used solely by the military, which is
yeah,
kind of scary to think about.
yeah. So yeah, you're a DIY guy and a kind of a techie guy. And so, was that something? Have you grown up kind of tinkering with things and kind of working on different stuff? Is it?
Oh yeah, when I was probably about 3 whenever I built my first project, I guess you could say. I built a tiny bridge to get to our mailbox,
Oh,
and
cool.
it's still standing to this day. So I guess I did a good job on it, but I've always been tinkering with stuff, but only recently have I started filming.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just glad everyone's liking it. Yeah, I started off welding a few years back because I something welded and couldn't afford to bring it somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, essentially all my skills are learned because of necessity, because I just don't have the funds to pay someone to do it.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
So I just you have to be self-reliant.
absolutely, man. And that's really one of the big messages that I like to try to get across, is that being self-reliant and being more resilient as a whole, as people, and self-reliant people are less likely to be pushed around because you have that confidence in yourself to be able to take care of situations if you get into something, if you get into bind, just like you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree with that statement. Perfect.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I figured we'd get along really well because you seem to be a very like-minded individual. So, so you are all self-taught then, huh? I see you working on electronics projects and ham radio stuff, and so you dabble in a little bit of everything. I see you doing some mechanic work and restoring an old Impala.
Yeah, it's I like to think of myself as a knower of all, master of none. I just sort of, yeah, started off with primarily electronic. Got into ham radio a few years back when I got my license. I now run a very small-time radio station and electronics repair. The car picked up a few years back, and just been working on that over the weekends, making videos about it. And, yeah, just sort of tinkering with whatever I can get my hands on.
Okay, very cool. So I'm guessing you seem like you're a younger guy. Are you still at home, or are you off on your own, or you still?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm not 18 yet.
Okay.
So
Okay. Cool. So what do you plan on, just kind of becoming an entrepreneur and kind of going off on your own, or just trying to get a YouTube and content creation thing going on?
yeah, I've always been the entrepreneur type. Like I said, I'm starting my own business. It's successful so far, repairing ham radios, CB radios, and other electronic. Yet again, out of necessity, our local shop that I brought all my radios to shut down. So I'm just glad that it's going smoothly so far.
Oh wow, that's awesome! So you saw that there was a need for somebody in the community to have those skills, and you just stepped in and you got people coming to you then, huh?
Exactly. It's I started because I needed my radios repaired, my ham radio, and there's no one to do it. So I learned, and I figured, well, if I need it, sure someone else locally does as well. And
Yeah.
so far, that seems to be the case.
That's really awesome, man. That's really cool. Seeing opportunities and going after them, and that's I like what I was watching your ham radio video where you were replacing the diode in there, and you were did a really good job of being able to explain how that diode works and everything like that, and what you said about you're just trying to share the knowledge, and I like that, man.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot. It's that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Is I think everyone should know at least a little bit of everything. It's like today, I know several people who don't know the oil in their car.
Yeah.
I just think that's something everyone should have. You have to have a certain amount of skills to sort of make it, or enough money to get you through.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you think you're right on point, man. It's something I've come to realize in my life myself. I've always kind of been that kind of person as well, just trying to mess around with things and try to understand different things. One of the science fiction writers that you might enjoy is Heinlein, and he had I think he had a quote where it was like a human being should be able to like create a ship, create a boat, like weld, understand all the technology, be able to slaughter an animal if they need to, grow a garden, all these skills that are pretty much about living and surviving. And I think it's Richard Heinlein. So if somebody can correct me on that, but or Robert Heinlein. But I always love that quote. And I'm that kind of guy myself. Jack of all trades, but master of none. But I'm just like too curious about everything.
Yeah, that's a really, really good quote. I might have to print that out and hang it up on my wall.
Yeah, I believe it is Robert Heinlein.
Okay.
Let's see. Let me just see if I got that right. Let's see. He wrote Starship Troopers. He was the guy that wrote Starship Troopers.
Yeah, I've actually heard that.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
I've read it before. Heard of it.
Yeah, Robert Heinlein. One of the books that I got into with him is Stranger in a Strange Land. It's like it's about like a guy from Mars that's on Earth that's like trying to figure out how everything works here. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He writes some pretty cool stuff. So,
I've actually been meaning to get into reading a little bit more, so thank you for the suggestion.
yeah, you bet, man. Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, you've I guess you're in kind of a self-reliant family down there too, huh? I guess your family has like a workshop and things, electronics and stuff, or you just kind of been able to accumulate some of these tools over time, I guess.
Well, we've always been a very self-reliant family. I actually wasn't born in Louisiana. We came down here after Hurricane Katrina to help rebuild.
Oh, wow.
So during that period of time, I learned a lot of general construction and carpentry, things like that. But for the most part, all those tools in there, we've just slowly accumulated over time. Just as I kept moving on to new projects, I would need a tool. And my father always told me, if you need a tool, buy a good one, keep it, because you're probably going to need it again someday.
Yeah.
So it's just been a slow accumulation.
Okay. Wow. So you guys traveled from your place that you were living to come down and help the city of Katrina, huh? After New Orleans after the Katrina hit, huh?
Yeah, it was devastating down here, really, just to see. I think one of my favorite things just sort of sums it up was a photograph that my father took while he was down there, one of the first people through. And it was someone's boat sticking out of the second-story window house.
Wow.
And how that happened, I have no idea, nor do I want.
Wow, that's an interesting tale, man. And so you guys kind of found a home down there and live in Louisiana.
Yeah, it's we used to live way up north, and whenever we moved down here, my mother said that she was tired of shoveling snow, so we stayed.
How about that? That's cool, man. Yeah, so your parents or your dad was able to find some work down there, and y'all just settled in, huh?
Yeah, it's well, my parents actually started a contracting company.
Okay.
Before Hurricane Katrina, and then we just brought that down here to help.
Okay.
So it wasn't anything new for him, but for me, it was a great change of scenery and a great learning.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's cool. So, I'm guessing you help out with the contracting business, and you just you go out there and build from time to time with them.
Yeah, well, my father's actually he's retired now, but I do help pretty much if anything needs fixed or repaired. I go out. I help wherever I can.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Yeah, so Inertia says be able to pay people to do it. Yeah, if you can afford it to do that, I've always kind of held the mentality that I've always just wanted to know how to do stuff. I've just always been fascinated on knowing how to do things myself, and so it's just different strokes for different folks, and everybody's got their own unique skills. And Inertia is a coder, and so you can get all kinds of work being a good coder now. So do you do any of that stuff? SL Gamer Guy, do you do a little bit of coding as well?
I tried before, but it's definitely not my forte. I wrote a couple programs in batch commands, but that's about as far as I was able to get.
Okay. Yeah.
I tried a little bit of JavaScript, and I had a little bit of success. Well, I don't know if it was JavaScript. I know there's 3 different languages for Java. It was one of those. I had a little bit of success, but for the most part, batch is my limit.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So do you have, I kind of find that a lot of people that are tinkers kind of have a mentality that, I may not know it in the beginning, but I know I can figure it out. Are you kind of that way?
Oh yeah, my mentality is always, if I don't know anything, jump in head first and figure it out later.
Yep. Yeah. Very cool, man.
Yeah, you have a world of knowledge at your fingertips with, the internet. You just have to be willing to reach out and learn it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's very cool, man. I think you got the right attitude for moving into the future and avoiding the college scam that a lot of people go through. Now,
yeah, it's that's still something I'm trying to figure out. Haven't quite gotten there. I figure I'll cross that bridge when I get to it.
Yeah, I would really do some thinking about it. I mean, I went to school for engineering and got my degree in mechanical engineering, and it's definitely you're not guaranteed. You're still not guaranteed a job, and so there are no guarantees in life. I really believe that now I'm kind of going on my own entrepreneurial journey and trying to get myself into online education and try to actually create courses and stuff and try to share the knowledge and become an entrepreneur in that respect, and also some different things in the solar power thing and doing those different kind of things. And so I think I've learned more in the short time of working on my business and all that than I did in the entire time that I was doing my mechanical engineering degree. But I guess I still enjoy that degree because it gave me a lot of tools. So those are some things you got to think about.
Yeah, well, it's like the saying, the world takes all kinds.
Yep.
I wouldn't want someone who doesn't have a civil engineering degree to go and build a bridge.
Yeah.
I think you need some qualification for that. But at the same time, if you go into college, $50, $80, $100,000, whatever it be, from my understanding of the statistics from, I believe it was 2013, only 20% of people who went to college for a certain degree actually went into that graduate.
Yeah, that's because I think when you're growing up, unless you've kind of really solidified the vision of what you want to be, that can change over time as you evolve as an individual. So, and a lot of those things in college aren't they're not really giving you the full picture. I see that Patient Zero posted a little video on it says the college conspiracy, but I really think that when you go in there, they have most colleges are trying to teach you there's certain aspect of things, and there's a lot more knowledge out there that can be found that's not outside of that little spectrum of a view. So but yeah, so
I'd say that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So are you did you go to how were you educated? Were you homeschooled, or did you go to public school?
I'm homeschooled currently.
Okay. Very cool, man. Very cool. So how was that for you? Like a lot of people talk about homeschooling, and one of their big things is that they are they say that homeschool kids aren't socialized and everything like that. What was your experience in homeschooling like that?
Well, I would say it's there's a bit of truth to that.
Okay.
In my case, it was, my mother was homeschooling me before we moved down for Katrina, but after that, it was a necessity. There weren't really any schools left, so that's sort of where it all started. And as I got older, our local homeschool group that we'd go on actual field trips and stuff like that. So if you don't try to socialize being homeschooled because you're not forced to socialize, you will end up, introvert, which I have to admit I am slightly. But, overall, I think it's probably been the best thing with my life so far is I've had the opportunity to not stick to a strict, 7 to 3 schedule every Monday through Friday. If I needed to take a day off in the middle of the week to go help with something, I could, and then just catch that day up later. So it's been really just.
Hey, you still with me, SL Gamer guy?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, great.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm just having some issues with my stream, like always, until I get this thing totally dialed in. This is also kind of, I've been doing this for a little bit, but I still have issues here and there. So,
oh yeah, I know that very well. I tried streaming video games for a while, and it was just dropped frames constantly, constant bitrate problems.
Yeah.
It was not smooth going.
Yeah. Yeah, so okay, I lowered the bit rate, so hopefully we don't we don't have those issues. Yeah, so I hear you. I hear you on that. That is one of the big complaints that some folks have about kids that get homeschooled. But I guess it's also your choice too, right? Because there's a lot of I guess it's your parents and how they get you to like interact with different people, and even your own personal choice on going to different events or trying to get out there and do different things with people.
Yeah, it's I'd say it's accurate. It's my parents homeschooled me since I was but a wee lad, and yeah, they forced me to go out and make friends, and I think I turned out all right, but who knows?
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. You sound like a great dude. So, man, it's just I'm naturally introverted myself, and I went through the whole public education system, and it was just really boring. And I think it is really cool that in homeschooling that you can be able to go at your own pace. And did they let you like go ahead if you wanted to? Like if you wanted to just like blast through it, could you just go and blast through a lot of that learning? Or
Oh yeah,
how did that work?
they've always supported that. Essentially, just trying to get school done as fast and efficiently as possible. So,
Okay.
it worked out really well. For a few years because I was taking all those days off to go and help my father and whatnot. For the last month of that school year, I had to just sit down and put my nose to the grindstone, really get through it.
Okay. Okay. So are you totally done now? Or are you just doing your own business and stuff and getting that starting to work out?
Now I've still have a few years of school left, but the business is going pretty well. Working on the weekend, and whatnot. And
Okay.
actually, just to show you how new of a business it is, I'm pretty sure your video is up on my dtube account.
Uh-huh.
My electronic is my electronics haul with all the radios and whatnot. That was sort of the first big purchase for the business.
Okay. Yeah, so
Was,
you load it up on different components and different things like that?
yeah, and I've got to say it's the whole. There's no need to really buy anything new if you find it working and used.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're able to get something that you can just do a few little repairs to, then you can have something that's like new if you know how to just fix the little things that are going on. So,
Yeah, exactly. It's just like I said, you have the internet at your fingertips. Not working, usually figure it out in a day. As long as you're really willing to learn.
absolutely. Absolutely. I completely am in agreement with you on that one. So yeah, so you are doing this 1970s Impala restoration. Yeah, tell me the story on that. Did you go out and find that at like a junkyard or something? You shop around on Craigslist and find that deal?
Yeah, it's well, actually there is a story behind it,
Okay.
and it's kind of funny. My sister used to drive a. I'll say it because I don't like it. It was a Jaguar, and that car, it was a thing never ran correctly, and uses a bunch of different colors of wiring. And I don't know if I've said this on YouTube, but I have my YouTube. I'm partially colorblind, so I
Okay.
can't actually tell the difference. You have 30 different colors of wiring going on the computer in the car.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm lost.
Yeah.
So, and my father, he's always been into classic cars, so he was all up for me getting one. One day I was just scrolling through Facebook marketplaces, of all things,
Yeah.
and I saw it nearby for $1,500.
Oh, no way.
Messaged him that night on my way, and went down there, bought it, brought it back immediately, just started working on it. So
Very cool.
it's worked out pretty well so far.
That's awesome,
And
man.
yeah, and the current where it currently lies is the last two videos I uploaded. The floor pan, passenger side floor pan, is almost completely tacked in and done. The hood has been painted, just sort of it's the Rust-Oleum paint job. Cost $3 in materials as opposed to $500 if I were to bring.
Yeah. Yeah, so you have your own little you've just been doing the Rust-Oleum paint. You buy a paint sprayer and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and I made a video of it on YouTube, and I think I forgot to upload it on. Like I said, I was trying to transfer everything over slowly. I essentially, to paint the entire car, it cost, well, I haven't done it yet, but it will cost me, I already bought everything, under $120 for paint, primer, a HVLP gun, sandpaper, Bondo, all of that.
Nice.
Excited for it. Hopefully in the next month or so, it'll all be one color yet again.
That's awesome. How's the humidity affected your painting and all that down there?
It's a challenge. The workshop, as you've seen in the videos, it's packed. There's just no room to really fit the car, let alone pieces of it in there to paint. So I just have to really work around the weather. Currently, I think it's somewhere around 85.
Yeah.
Check. It's about 70% humidity outside.
Yeah.
So I just have to really watch weather. That's why I started the $100 Rust-Oleum paint job actually early last year. Well, late last year. Then the temperature plummeted, and then we immediately went into rain and humidity. So
Yeah.
just one piece at a time. When the weather is good, and then I have to hop out there and paint a fender, the roof.
Yeah. I when I was younger in my high school, I fixed up. My dad got me to fix up an old 1976 Ford truck, and it was a long process, man. Doing the body work and sanding. You get tired of sanding so much, which I'm guessing you've kind of made your way through. It looks like the body's in pretty good shape with that thing, and I'm guessing you had some rust in the on the floor pan, so you're replacing it.
Yeah, it's I've got to say, those old Ford pickup trucks, I love those. There's quite a few of them around here that I admire.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, the body is surprisingly straight on it. There's I don't know how well it appears in video. There's a bit of Bondo, which I fear might be hiding a rusted hole on the passenger side rear fender.
Yeah.
But besides that, it's mint. And the floor pans, well, there wasn't much left of them. I didn't notice when I bought it. Someone had recently painted the floor pan, and what they'd actually do is they screwed some thin tin over the actual floor pan. Underneath that, there's nothing. So I just immediately had to take it and pull out the grinders and the torches, cut everything out. Like in the video, just put in a not as difficult as people think. It's time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, because you have to prep all your surfaces. If they do have paint on them, you got to take that paint off. You got to grind it off. You got to get it ready for welding and get yourself a good weld and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of work involved.
Yeah, it's definitely not for the faint of heart. if you don't really have the determination to stick to it, which yeah, I have been a little lazy here and there, just not getting to it for a couple weeks. But yeah, hopefully by the end of summer it'll be fully done and out on the road.
That's awesome, man. You're gonna try to get it done in the summer.
Yeah, it looks like this is the first summer where the weather is sort of on my side for once.
That's great, man. So the engine and everything's in good shape, and so is the interior in pretty good shape.
The interior, there were actually quite a few pieces missing of it.
Okay.
So that is something I'm gonna have to get eventually. But mechanically, it's all there, and it does run and drive, and
Stick shift.
I really like. No, 3-speed automatic. Thankfully, it's. I can't imagine it's very good at driving stick.
Yeah. Oh man, they're more
But
fun. They're more fun.
You know, it is on my bucket list. I do want to learn how to drive a stick shift. I haven't had the opportunity yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, buy yourself a little beater Miata or something. It's a little stick shift. They're pretty fun. Well, that's
Yeah, and it runs actually great.
cool. That's great, man.
And the exhaust, I imagine I'm probably gonna get pulled over once or twice just for how loud the exhaust, but it is factory.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how they're able to get away with that even in the 70s.
Yeah, just straight piped it or something like that. No,
I mean, there are
no muffler,
there are mufflers, but
no
they
catalytic
don't do
converter.
much.
Yeah,
Oh, in the 70s, of course not.
yeah.
If it's below 40 degrees, it's you can practically see the smog coming out the tailpipe.
You know, I've always wanted to build a rat rod, and this one guy built one that was just like he just took a farm tractor diesel motor, and he just built it just to get in the face of all like the tree huggers in California, and just blow smog in their face. And you know, yeah, down south we don't have all those restrictions on the emissions and all that kind of stuff, and it allows you to kind of get creative with some of those things. But yeah.
Yeah, it's luckily we don't have any of that emissions testing here either. You know what? I don't condone. I think they call it rolling coal with diesels on protesters, but I do have to say I've had a couple chucks from those videos. They're pretty good.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it is some. So yeah, there was that's a really cool project, man. It really gives you an appreciation for the vehicle you're driving as well, I think.
Yeah, and you know, the fact that it's so simplistic that, you know, you can just have what was it? I think it's the Haynes manual.
Yeah.
And I plan on buying it on eBay, and it's just, you know, one book on how to completely disassemble and reassemble the entire car bit by bit. It's just great compared to working on those new foreign cars.
I know, man. When you get into the newer cars with the fuel injection and all the electronics and everything like that, you want to strangle all the engineers for how they have to cram everything in there, because it's so hard to work on that stuff compared to the older vehicles.
I actually had to take it was my sister's Jaguar. And you couldn't go above 78 in it. I'm pretty sure was the magic number, because it had an O2 sensor out. However, to replace the O2 sensor, you had to pull the engine.
Oh my god!
for about $20 part. What's
Yeah.
even worse is you don't actually pull the engine out of that car. You actually lift the car off of the engine.
Oh my gosh!
So that was a process.
Who bought the Jaguar for your sister?
It was
Or did she buy it herself?
It was actually we picked it up broken, had a blown engine on, I think it was Craigslist.
Okay.
And we found I think it was a Lincoln OHV V8 engine to put in it.
Okay.
And the engine, it was actually from my understanding, Katrina flooded engine. So me and my dad rebuilt it, put in, and for about 2 months, that car ran perfectly, and it screamed if you took in to put pedal. But as soon as that O2 sensor went out, it was just... So, yeah, if you have a foreign car and it runs, appreciate it.
Yeah, I had an old boss, and he inherited a Jaguar from his father, and it was like a 12-cylinder Jaguar thing, and it was crazy, man. Like, he kept it really well maintained, but he had some stories about having to change out pistons in that thing, and you just very difficult to get parts for it and stuff like that. But yeah.
Getting parts for it, they're miserable. And the funny thing is, where we live, there's it's actually not anywhere near where we live, but there's a place where we could take it. It was a Jaguar mechanic, and when we told them, because we have the scan tool, we could say, a fair amount of certainty that O2 sensor is gone, and they refused to work on it.
Oh, really?
Even the official Jaguar mechanics, they're I just found absolutely hilarious. Not even their own mechanics will work on it.
Yeah, for sure. It's not they're not very easy to work on. So yeah, but so going from working on that a little bit to going to this Impala, I bet is like a breath of fresh air, huh?
Just immensely.
Yeah.
I mean, safety-wise, anyone with a hint of knowledge could get into that car and take it without the keys. But, I mean, security, it's fine.
Yeah,
how are you going to have a forest green 1970 Impala in your backyard?
I know what you mean on that. My security system on my old Ford was that you had to hold up on the on the pernurdle, if you know what I'm talking about, and you had to hold up on it to be able to get the ignition and to turn over the engine. You had to hold up on it just the right way. That was my security system. But other than that, I think my buddy's Bronco, his key worked in my old Ford too, so it was definitely not secure at all.
Yeah. I figured I'm probably going to have to put some sort of a hidden kill switch in there somewhere. I don't know, but it is, I guess security, they just weren't that concerned back then. I mean, I've heard stories of, my dad's told me that he had friends who went into the grocery store, came back, their car was gone.
Yeah.
And then a few months later, they just saw the engine for sale in the newspaper. So,
yeah,
I guess it was a problem. Just no one thought to fix it. But
well, I mean, it got better, as time progressed. But yeah, man, it is super easy to get those things going because they're just simple, right? Because they were, and just evolving out of the cars from the 40s and 50s. So
on a new car, you have to think about, is the computer working, all of that. On this car, you just have to think. It's the fire triangle, like I learned in Boy Scouts. You got air, fuel, and a source of ignition. If you're still breathing, there's oxygen getting to the engine. So the only other thing is you have spark and fuel. Besides that, you're good to go.
Yep. That's cool. You were in the Boy Scouts. I was too. Did you get to Eagle?
No, I didn't get anywhere near that, actually. It's,
yeah.
Something, I don't quite remember, but something happened with the, I guess you'd call them the leaders.
Yeah.
And something happened, and my parents pulled me out of it. Who knows? But
Okay.
I did enjoy it when I was in. And now looking back on it, I wish I would have stayed in and gone to Eagle Scout, because that's something to work for, be proud of.
Yeah, it was one of, I mean, the favorite thing that I really enjoyed about it was being able to just go and learn all the different skills and stuff like that. That was the biggest thing that I got out of it, and it was really fun to be able to go and be able to just lead yourselves, really. You know, you had your group of buddies or whatever, and you went and planned a camping trip and just got out and camped and just fended for yourself. And pretty much the adults in our troop, they just kind of were hands off. So the old dudes would be there to keep us from killing each other and maybe answer questions here and there, but they pretty much just kind of left us alone. So that was cool.
Yeah, it's that was sort of my favorite thing as well. I only got to do it once, but that time, and it wasn't really a camp trip. We went to, I think it was a local national park, but that was, probably my favorite of, like you were saying, just sort of getting to be on your own for a while, and yet still have someone there to ask questions if you get stuck.
Yeah, I think that's the best way of doing it, and it makes a lot more fun for the guys in the troop and stuff, because they're actually learning stuff. You're making mistakes and stuff like that, but you're learning a lot in the process. So yeah, for sure. Yeah, Rondon says back then you could leave your car on the street with your keys in it with no worries. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
depending on where you were. I think there were a lot of break-ins and stuff in Detroit and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, I mean,
depending on where you
I don't want to diss my state, but at the same time, make sure your car's locked if you ever head down to New Orleans by Mardi Gras season.
Yeah. I was down there this year for the first time. I stayed at the Bayou Segnet State Park down there, and it was hot. I was down there in August, I think, around August time frame, and I just had a little fan that I had running on me, and I built like one of these little makeshift air conditioners with I saw on YouTube, and it was just a bag of ice. You throw in a styrofoam cooler and you cut out a hole for your fan, and you use a 90-degree elbow PVC, and that was my air conditioning. But
yeah, and
you get used to it. You get a little bit used to it after a while, after you've been in it for a little bit.
Yeah, and a lot of people down here, that's all their air conditioning is. We call them swamp coolers. And still, if you head down into the bayou off an old dirt road, you're eventually going to run into three houses with the front door open, some guy sitting on the porch next to a swamp cooler with not a care in the world. It's kind of funny. I never seen before in travel. Seems sort of a Louisiana thing.
Yeah. I helped one of my buddies build one, a real simple one, because he went to that Burning Man festival years ago, and we built a real simple one with a solar panel, and it drove a little pump, and it circulated water up to these little plastic mat things that you can buy that's like really porous, and then it just dripped down into that, and it had holes in it, and then you just had a fan in the bucket. It's just a 5-gallon bucket, and it drew in air from those holes coming from that mat that was being drenched with water, and then it created a really, really crude, like you said, a swamp cooler because of the evaporation of the water.
Huh? Yeah, that's really cool. It's a little more sophisticated than the ones I've seen.
Yeah,
but I'd imagine that works pretty well if you've got it that water constantly circulate.
It works really well if you're in a drier environment, but if you're in a really humid environment, you don't get as great of a cooling effect, because it's that evaporation of the water that causes the cooling effect. And so if you're saturated with water all around, then you're not going to get as much evaporation. So
Yeah, it's actually I wonder if maybe I should make one of those this summer.
yeah,
Put out
man.
by the put out on the back porch. Stay cool out here.
Yeah, you give it a shot. It's they're pretty little simple things, and I can point you a video. I'll send you a video about it.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Cool, man. Yeah. So what other projects do you got working on? This is your main one right now. And then you got some radios, different radios you're repairing. You got any other projects you got going on? You still want to stream some of your video gaming and stuff on Steemit and everything, or dtube or Vim?
The Impala is sort of the main project so far. As you know, for once I have set myself that goal of getting it done by the end of the summer.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so far it's on track. And with the streaming on a dtube or Vim or whatever, it's I would like to, but it seems just a little daunting at first. I'm gonna have to, like I say, jump head first and figure it out. Yeah, I guess.
Absolutely. If you have any questions or anything, just holler at me too.
Okay, yeah, it's I'll probably have quite a few questions. I'm used to YouTube, where fire up OBS, the YouTube website, and press play, and you're good.
Yeah.
But, I guess with at least dtube, I heard you have to have some sort of intermediate software between OBS and dtube.
No, you can upload to dtube, and it's just it loads it. It takes a part of the step to upload it to the IPFS system, and so that's what takes a while. So
Okay.
So
yeah,
instead of going directly, into a centralized server, right? It's taking a file and then pinning it on dtube's IPFS node system, from what I understand, and that's another reason why you need or people either want to seek a hosting service for IPFS or do their own IPFS node, because if you host your own file and you keep it connected to the internet, then your videos are going to be able to be seen past a 7-day window, because that's how dtube operates right now, because that's so much data and they're not able to keep all of that. They only hold on to it for like 7 days, which is your payout window on Steemit. And so then your file it's still on the IPFS system, but you're the only host of that file, essentially. Streaming. Oh, okay. Streaming. I don't know if dtube still has streaming. I know I stream on Vim here, and that's the service that I use. But
yeah, it's last time I was on dtube a couple weeks ago. I believe it still had an option for streaming on there.
Okay. Now, is that what you were talking about in regard to the needing additional hardware?
Yeah,
Okay.
I heard there was some software, I forget the name of it, that goes in between OBS and dtube for live.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that myself. I do remember. I think I tested it out a while back, and I can't remember how well that went. But I obviously went to Vim, so it definitely had some issues. So okay, Rondon knows a little bit more about this. He says he didn't think that dtube has streaming anymore. They did for a short while. Many on Steam use Vim.tv for live streaming. but they don't keep your recording, so you need to record it locally, then upload to dtube when the stream is over. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I lost him. Man. Let's see. Lost, So, sorry about this, guys. Let's see if we can get SL Gamer Guy back. But, yeah. That's pretty cool. He's got some pretty cool stuff going on. And really neat kid that seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders and moving in a good direction. So, how's everybody else doing today? Thanks for being here. Inertia, Patient Zero, Peachy Mod, Rondon, Soundwaves Photon, Unravel Me. Thank you for joining me this morning. Sorry about the technical difficulties here. So, yeah, I guess, you know, it may be just my laptop having an issue with pushing out the video quality with this high bit rate. So, I'm still having issues with that. I went to a USB 3.0 to Ethernet on my laptop, since my laptop doesn't have an Ethernet port. And I thought that would kind of fix things, but it looks like I'm still having the same issues that I was having with the wireless when I was just set up wireless on my laptop. So let's see if we can get SL Gamer Guy back. Let me see if I can direct message him in here and see if we can get him back on air here. Let's see. Sorry about this, guys. It's a little bit of technical difficulties going on here. And we'll see if we can get everything back up and running. And let's see. Says he's still in. And yeah, maybe you want to turn it off and on again. It's the ultimate IT issue. It's the deep state. So, all right. Let's see. While we're trying to get SL Gamer Guy back, there is some stuff that I've been working on. I've been working on transferring my aquaponics system from the city house, and I got some news about that. My city house, it looks like the closing date is going to be moving back to June 15th, so that kind of gives me a little bit more time to get everything moved out of the house. I was kind of on a pretty tight timeline there. But last week I was able to get my aquaponics system that I had up in the city house. I was able to get all that moved, and I'm starting to build the system back again. And I've got my transition system at my folks' property right now, and then I'll be moving it down to my own property. So that's going right now as an update. Let's see, SL Gamer Guy, are you back? Let's see. Let me pull him back in here.
Am I?
Hey, are you back with me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you back. All right, good deal.
Okay.
That was weird.
It dropped me from the call. However, it was still saying I was connected. So I force shut down the app and reopened it. Seemed to have worked.
Yeah, that's very weird, man. So let's see.
Yeah, it's just not my day with technology.
Well, you know, this technology is pretty nice, but it does have we do have quite a few issues, especially when we're doing these streams and everything. So it's just part of the game, and you just got to keep rolling with the punches. So yeah, we were at your projects, and you were telling me that the car project's pretty much gonna take up all your time. So you got that going on, and so what's your goal with your videos? You just want to be able to share more knowledge and do more, keep doing DIY type videos?
I like to take and I'm still uploading both on YouTube and D. I record the video and upload the same one on each. So that way, the audience on YouTube, I'm not upset at my audience. I'm upset at the site itself. So I don't want to, for lack of better words, punish my audience because I don't like YouTube. So I'm still uploading content there.
Yeah.
So overall, I would just like to continue, like you were saying, DIY projects, and I would like to improve my editing. I think I do a little bit better on my editing jobs for the video.
Yeah. So what type of software are you using with your video editing? Are you using the freeware type stuff, Adobe, or what are you using?
I use Sony Vegas Pro 14.
Okay, that's
And
really cool.
yeah, it works really well, and I know that I'm definitely not using it to its full potential. So I just need to work on that, and always just keep striving to improve.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one. So yeah, I just started to use the DaVinci Resolve. It was a free one, so I started learning on that. But I've seen some videos of. Go ahead.
I've heard about that DaVinci Resolve. That's new, right?
I don't know. It's a company, Black Magic Design. I found a YouTube creator that was using it, and he talked pretty well about it. He got started making all his videos with the DaVinci Resolve and just stuck with it because of its freeware, and he really got a hang of using it. And so, that I took his suggestion and just started to use that for editing my own videos. I just started my own YouTube channel myself because there is a little bit bigger audience there on YouTube. They do have, your videos are reliably hosted. So what a lot of people do with dtube is, they're not stopping, using YouTube. A lot of people are using YouTube and embedding those videos also in their posts because you're going to be able to keep watching the content, especially if you're not pinning your own IPFS files. So, but it is a lot of people are using that YouTube and directing people to Steam at dtube is what I'm doing currently as well.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing with uploading videos on both at the same time and sort of I don't know what you call it, cross-referencing the two.
Yep.
Saying, check it out on my YouTube channel, Twitter, dtube, trying to sort of not have all my eggs in one basket, so to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think there's lots of other platforms and things popping up that are giving people alternatives to these centralized systems, and in my opinion, that's where we're going, is totally decentralizing everything, because it's kind of time in human history, I believe, that we kind of have a choice of whether we either want to have others control us, or we want to take personal responsibility and start moving in that direction. So I think we're in that time, and I think decentralization is the future.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's with YouTube, I realize they're a very large company. However, at the same time, as that old adage goes, you're never too big to fail.
Yep.
And I only found this out a few years ago, but YouTube really has never actually made any sizable amount of net income for Google.
Yeah. Yeah, and I believe they're kind of hemorrhaging right now as well. And
It wouldn't surprise me at all if they are losing money right now, considering people just don't seem to be happy with the service anymore, and I don't blame them. I'm not myself.
yeah, it's PewDiePie making the announcement that he was going to start doing some streaming on DLive was a big shock to everybody. He's looking into alternatives as well. So, and he's their the biggest.
Yeah, well,
creator.
I think it's just sort of hilarious that PewDiePie of all people has been at the source of so much drama. I mean, I haven't watched any of his content recently. All I know him as, some dude in Sweden, I think it was, making funny, was it Slenderman video? It was the last time I watched it in like early 2012.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now it's, he's in newspapers about, this and that. And I find it hard to believe, hard to fathom.
Yeah, well, he just kind of grew his channel to an incredible amount, and created this whole wave of people to subscribe to PewDiePie. Made it a meme, and then his popularity just skyrocketed because he's just he's just ridiculous.
I completely forgot about the subscribe to PewDiePie meme.
Yeah,
that was a wave on the internet that just came crashing down.
Yeah,
I remember in the back of news broadcast up signs saying subscribe to PewDiePie.
Yeah.
At what point?
Hello, you still there?
Yep, still here.
Go ahead. Sorry, I lost your audio there for a second.
Oh yeah, it's so I was just saying, at what point in time does a meme go too far? It's
Yeah.
gotta be killed off at one point or another.
Right.
But yeah, to go back to your previous question, I realized I sort of bunny trailed off there. As to my current projects, yeah, the Impala's pretty much done. The only thing I'm currently working on now is I have a HF Johnson Messenger 223 tube type C radio. And there will be videos coming out on it soon about repairing it. As it turns out, there's not many videos of essentially repairing tube radios, which I think is interesting.
Yeah. Actually, one of our fellow steemians and one of the community members here in the PAL Discord works on a lot of the tube electronics equipment. Amber Uper, and Amber did a lot of electronics repair for like old arcade machines, and still works on the tube amplifiers and things like that.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm surprised that as an industry there are still technicians around to work on. It's like this little CB radio. It's sort of just I happen to have it, so I'm going to repair it.
Yeah.
But tubes, it's amazing. They're still manufactured, I found out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of hobbyist electronics people that still like to use them, because I believe when Amber talks about it with the amplifiers for guitar and everything, you get a different type of sound instead of pumping it through your solid state electronics equipment. So it's
and I can say it's very accurate that they do sound different. Now, which one you prefer the sound of, well, that's person to person. But, I have a Heathkit HW100 radio, and it sounds far different than solid state radio when listening. It's got an almost sort of warmer tone, not as much high end.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so that'll be a cool little project. So what's your recording setup like? Do you just using a phone, or you have like a little digital camera or something that you're recording with?
I have for my DIY videos, I use a combination of what is it? It's an Ion Air Pro action camera. It's sort of a knockoff GoPro, and that works really well with the wide angle lens I mount so I can put on a ball cap, have it head mount. For stable shots on a tripod, I'll either use my Canon Vixia HFR 600 camcorder or my Canon EOS Rebel T2i. And if you use the right camera in the right situation, it to be far better than just trying to one for all of it. In my
Yeah, really cool, man. Yeah, so were you? Did you have to go? Did you just buy those online, or did you find a deal on them, or how'd you get them?
The only one that I actually went out and bought new was the Ion Air Pro. And that was only because I actually found it on Amazon. It was 75 or 72% off. So it was sort of a deal too good to pass up. And then everything else I've just gotten from Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist.
Yeah, man, I like it. That's the one good thing that I'll still use Facebook for, is that Facebook Marketplace, because it seems like there's actually a lot of people on there, and they're really using it. So give me 1 second. I need to I'm gonna turn on some AC. I'm actually out in a kind of an unair conditioned space, so let me see if I can turn on some AC, and maybe that'll help out my laptop a little bit too.
No problem.
All right, I'm back. So let's see. Sorry about all these problems, guys. I thought that I had a little bit better setup today, but I guess I'm totally I've got it all wrong. So yeah, we'll just keep on rolling, and hopefully it'll all kind of work out. So yeah, that's very great, man. So do you plan on staying in Louisiana, or do you have like kind of you might want to go travel or something like that in the future?
I do plan on traveling once I'm done with school, but I do think I'm going to end up living in Louisiana. It's just, friends and family here, and I consider this home. And, there's just it's never the same as being.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear you on that for sure. I really love the landscape in Alabama, and I do have a really good network of friends and family around here. So yeah, I totally understand what you're talking about. Yeah. So do you also like doing a lot of stuff outdoors? Do you get to go outdoors and do any camping or anything like that?
I haven't been able to recently, but that is one of my favorite pastimes, is just heading out, hiking, camping, being in the south by the Gulf of Mexico's, less than a day's drive away. I love going out there and fishing. it's Louisiana. It's sportsman's paradise. All the license.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you you go down to the Gulf a lot and do fishing and stuff?
I have occasionally. I haven't recently, sadly, with school and being in finals on and off. But once I have some free time, I definitely want to take a trip down there and just spend a day out on the Gulf of Mexico, pack lunches and fishing.
Awesome, man. Yeah. So what kind of do you usually like kind of just fish on the beach, or like there's some piers and stuff, or you ever tried GoPro fishing with a GoPro or a one of those drones?
I've not tried drone fishing yet. I do wonder the legality of that. But yeah, there are piers, and there's actually. Let me try and get my the name correct here. So, are you familiar with? I believe it's the call.
What was that? I'm sorry, I missed you on that one.
Are you familiar with the call?
Yeah, I still didn't catch that. Sorry.
Are you familiar with the causeway, the bridge down here, long bridge over water in North?
I do remember driving over a really large bridge on my way down to New Orleans. If that's what you're talking about.
That would have been it.
Okay.
Underneath that bridge, I hope I'm getting it right. If I'm not, I'm sure someone will. There is another bridge that actually during Katrina, just the concrete slabs got heaved up and thrown into the lake there. So it's not on the Gulf, but in Lake Pontchartrain. There is actually they just turned the old bridge into a pier. So you can just walk down out there. They've got umbrellas and whatnot, and it's, I guess, really good fishing ground. I've never been there myself.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's really cool. So being down there for the first time this year, I went down and traveled my way down Bourbon Street and all that at nighttime, and that definitely is an experience. It's like anything goes there, man. It is kind of wild.
Anything goes in Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
What happens on Bourbon Street stays on Bourbon Street.
That is exactly right, man. It's just like, so there are it is just like a free for all down there, and it was an experience. But do people have their own little places that they like to go and stay away from Bourbon Street while all the locals?
Yeah, there isn't really any. I think kind of funny in Louisiana. Most people don't tour around to other parts of Louisiana to visit other places. I think it's a shame. There's a lot of history around here. I think a couple of my favorites would be the old State Building, or the old Capitol Building in Baton Rouge. That's beautiful. I believe it's a few dollars for a tour if you ever come back here.
Yeah.
Or there is, I forget the name of it, but there's an aquarium. And it is just absolutely massive, biggest one I've ever been to. And for some reason, there's a statue of Winston Churchill. I'm not sure what he has to do with this, but there's a big statue of Winston Churchill.
At the aquarium?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to try to check those out while I go through all that area if I pass through there again. Yeah, the Duck Dynasty guys are down there, aren't they? In like Monroe or something like that.
Yeah, it's there's actually both Duck Dynasty and Swamp People are down here.
Yeah.
And I've actually met one of the guys from Swamp People, and that was kind of cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forget his name.
Was he
He's the guy who always
is-
wears
is he the-
overalls.
Is he the guy that says shoot him?
No, but my dad actually got to meet him on a separate occasion.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I was walking through a sporting goods store one day, and yeah, I saw the guy there. You know,
Yeah.
as usual with his dog and no shirt, just overall.
Yeah.
And that was cool to get a picture.
Oh, right on. Yeah, right on. Would you ever go gator hunting?
You know, I would have to think about that. Alligators, you know, it's cool to see it on TV, but
Yeah.
they're no joke. Once they get about, you know, 80 pounds, they can do some damage if you don't know what you're doing. And I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah, so do you guys get those do they show up in people's neighborhoods from time to time down there? Depending on where you're at, I
Yeah.
guess.
We actually had one a couple years ago.
Oh, really?
Showed up in our neighborhood, and it was actually kind of funny because everyone in the neighborhood liked it. It was just a small one, maybe 3 feet long.
Yeah.
And whenever it rained, you just see them in the ditches, going around eating snakes and whatnot. And I was sort of the neighborhood mascot, and sadly, someone got up in arms and called animal.
Yeah.
So, sadly, we lost our mascot.
Oh, man. Yeah, so yeah, cool, man. So you got a lot more. Are people down there pretty self-sufficient as well? Like a lot of people in your area are pretty much just just make stuff happen?
It definitely depends on where you are in Louisiana. You know, it's New Orleans and Baton Rouge. It's, you know, practically the New York of the South.
Yeah.
But, you know, once you start going to the outskirts, there are quite a few, I guess you would consider them homestead, people just living on their own and making whatever they need happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you know, there's a lot of places in the country that are like that for sure, and even in the United States, I took some time and I went and hiked the Appalachian Trail and volunteered on a Appalachian Trail maintenance crew for a little bit, and being up in the Appalachians and seeing the way that people live up there, it's very much the same. People are just still living off the land in like real simple houses, kind of like back pioneer style living, really. And no AC, some people don't have electricity still, and just kind of living on the land.
Yeah, it's amazing to see it still done, you know, because you always think, at least I did in the beginning, yeah, well, you know, now it's a modern day society. If you need anything, go to the grocery store, and to realize that there are still people in this country pretty frequently just living on their own, like you said, off the land. Yeah, it's very respectable.
Yeah, and I actually took part in a gathering this year. It's called the Rainbow Gathering, and they're just a group of people that, I mean, you know, a lot of them live without any kind of interaction with the modern society in the United States. They don't have IDs or anything like that, and they just, for the most part, they live off the land and just kind of travel from place to place like gypsies. And this Rainbow Gathering thing is just like, you know, everybody gets together in one location. They kind of make up their minds on where they're going to go each year, and it's a different national forest property. And it started as like a protest back in the 1970s that public land should be for public use, and so everybody just spontaneously shows up, and they just they create their own little mini society there for a few weeks, and it's something interesting. It's something really wild to experience, and yeah, it opens your eyes to see that there's there's a whole different world out there, really.
Yeah, I've never actually heard about that. That sounds very interesting.
Yeah,
And
man,
I'd
it's pretty
like
wild.
to see that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. You just have to keep your ear out for where they're going to be each year. They set out coordinates maybe like a week before it happens. But if you look up the Rainbow Gathering, you can find information on it. And yeah, they'll just like set out a piece of GPS coordinates, and then you can just go navigate yourself to that area. And they have like a little hotline that kind of helps you find your way to where they're going to be at, and then you just go camp. And you just there's no money exchange there. It's all, everybody kind of supports each other, and people bring their own food in, and they help contribute in these kitchens that get set up, and they build an infrastructure and just live there in a little mini society for a little while.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'll have to keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, for sure, man. It was a really unique experience for myself, because it is a bunch of is a big group of hippies that are just kind of free spirited and people and kind of stuff like that. And what I found was that being a Boy Scout, I like to be prepared, and so when I went in there, it was there were a lot of people that didn't have everything they needed, but there's folks always around that have something to help other people out. So some people needed a knife to cut into some food, and I had it and was able to share it with them, and then like a headlamp and things like that. And it kind of opened my eyes to sometimes you just gotta trust in the universe, I guess, and things work out.
Yeah, and with being prepared, I think that's definitely a very important thing these days, with especially down here with all the hurricanes, the bad weather. I'm actually part of it's ARES, the Amateur Radio Emergency Service.
Okay.
So we're prepared, and anytime there's a bad storm, we actually run communication about weather reports back to National Weather Service. If it's really bad, luckily I've never experienced firsthand, we can run communications for the local police, fire, and EMS. I heard over in Texas, I believe it was, radio was helping with the Cajun Navy during Irma.
Yeah, that was a really cool thing that just spontaneously happened, right? Was that all these guys with boats just decided to coordinate with each other and try to provide the relief for people during all the flooding and stuff, right?
Yeah, I really don't even know how it got organized. Anytime there's been flooding, of course, people with boats are going to go around and, help people out. But it seems to me this is the first time that's ever somehow been, it's an organized group. And I think that's truly just amazing that it was put together just like that.
Yeah, I think, that's what gives me a lot of hope, and I am very optimistic about humanity, because I believe that when we're pushed into extreme situations, that people do rise to the occasion. And there's great people everywhere, and it's just kind of a factor of our current media that like to keep us being distracted and divided with each other and try to put us in a fear type situation of each other. But it's great that you're doing the ham radio stuff. Are you you said you're about to take the test, or you've already taken the test for? Are you going to do the full code operator test?
Yeah, there are 3 types of licenses with amateur radio. This is America. I don't know if in other countries there are different ways of doing it. But there is currently a technician class license, a general class license, an amateur extra license. The technician allows you to use VHF and UHF radios for the most part, very high, ultra high. which are sort of like overpowered walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
So you can go with a repeater, maybe 50 miles. I currently have the general class amateur radio license. So I'm allowed to use high frequency, I believe some low frequency as well.
Okay.
Allows international worldwide communication.
Oh wow. So you have
However,
you have a really powerful antenna then.
well, that's the thing, which truly amazing getting to study for the test and learn all of this. It's not a terribly powerful antenna and radio system. It's only 100 watts, less
Okay.
than some incandescent light bulb.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm able to talk to Canada and Mexico reliably and worldwide in the right. However, around here locally, so with the test taking, you have to go in to take the test, and you are watched under VEs, volunteer examiner.
Okay.
And if you want to get your technician class license, you have to be overviewed and graded by either a general class or operator.
Okay.
And sadly, most of our local amateur extra operators passed away. So they need more to fill the gaps. So that's my goal is to, by the end of this year, have my amateur extra license and be able to go in and actually be a volunteer examiner to help get more people into the hobby, both for emergency communications and just for at any time I can hop on the radio and talk to Europe. It's very cool.
That is really cool, and I'm getting into it. I'm actually getting into it myself. My old coworker gifted me a little portable ham radio rig, and so I have actually built this trailer. It's all solar trailer and everything, and on board I'll have the ham radio set, and it will be partially built it for disaster relief scenarios, and so yeah, I'll definitely have to link up with you, and we might have to see if we do some tests on maybe talking to each other or something.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about amateur radio, feel free to ask me. I'm
Awesome.
not necessarily an expert, but I do know quite a bit about it just from stumbling my way through it and having to figure it out myself.
Yeah,
I'd be able to
that's
help
great.
you avoid some of the mistakes I made.
That's great, man. Yeah, I was looking into, I guess, what's your recommendation for getting started? I guess I was looking into just getting started with the no code license or something.
Luckily, I believe it was about 5 years ago. I might be wrong on that date, but they actually got rid of the Morse code requirement for all but the amateur extra class, I believe.
Okay.
So your technician class and your general class, there's no code requirement anymore.
Okay.
So you can just, study, go in and pay, I think it was $15, and, you take your technician test, you pass that, you can just bring nothing. I'd like to take my general, go on, get that. And it really is, at least for me, it was much easier than people were leading me to believe.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that's definitely something I'm gonna do. So yeah, cool. I'll definitely contact you with some questions that'll come up. So yeah, very cool, man. So yeah, you have a family that ended up traveling down to the south. You guys are northerners, very similar to my situation. My parents are from Michigan, and my dad traveled down here in the south for work, and they loved it down here. Same thing that your mom was saying, that they hated shoveling snow after they got used to living down in the south. So it's
I'm actually from Michigan as well.
Oh, okay. How wild.
Yeah.
What part?
That would be near Hell, Michigan, if you know where that is.
Helen?
Hell. Hell.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I can't remember what
Which
part
is,
that is
actually
from.
just north of Climax, Michigan, I believe as well.
Wow. Is that in northern? Is that in northern Michigan?
Yeah, it's northern Michigan, up near the UP.
Oh yeah. I think yeah, because our family actually has a. My great grandfather had bought this cabin off of a guy in a town close to Bruce's Crossing called Trout Creek in the UP, and we go deer hunting up there on occasion, and so yeah, I think I remember passing through hell. So I'm kind of I'm familiar with that area.
Hell, don't look back and just keep going.
Yep, that's how it went.
Want to go through hell and aim straight for Climax.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
go
whoever
ahead.
named those counties needs a raise.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so were you a snow skier or snowboarder or anything like that?
For the brief time that I was up there, my favorite thing was hiking and snowboard.
Oh, very cool, man. Yeah, I really got into snowboarding myself by going with my cousins a few times, and they got me hooked on it. And so I try to make a trip once a year, and the place that we try to go to is Snowshoe, West Virginia, and that's probably like one of the best places to go in the Southeast.
Yeah, it's yeah, I'd love to go snowboarding again, but then it's I have to buy all the equipment again, and I don't really remember even how to do it. It was so long ago. But
Yeah.
man, it was fun when I was.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, it's yeah, you just go rent the equipment and just get out there. It's it can be pretty cheap. Actually, I know in my local area in Huntsville, they just started to do flights to Colorado for real cheap because I got some friends that like to go as well, and they usually go into the Rockies into a place called Copper Mountain, which is like one of the smaller ski and snowboarding areas, but it is getting cheaper to go fly there. So yeah, there's always opportunity. There's different opportunities to go, and you just gotta look out for the deals, right?
Yeah, and yeah, it's really amazing. There's an airline. It's I think Spirit Airline. It's $50 plane tickets across the country. If you're ever looking to go somewhere, I'd look them up.
Oh, really?
It's no frills, but it is cheap. Gets you from point A to point B.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Yeah, $50. That's not bad.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago. I flew back up to Michigan. It was $50 each way. Landed on time. It's if you don't go there expecting free coffee and peanuts, then
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool, man. So, do they put you on one of those smaller planes, or do they have some bigger? They got some big planes.
It's a I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know the name of it, but it's a standard size airplane. But man, they pack those like practically a Greyhound bus with wings.
Yeah, I used to my old profession. My job that I had to travel a lot, and I'm a bigger dude, and so flying on airplanes is it's not a great experience for me as a big guy, but
It's I can definitely relate to that. It's I'm not the smallest guy either. It's difficult for me. It's mostly the headroom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a little bit hard on your legs and headroom. I like this one comedian. He talks about how he's a really tall guy. He's like 6'7". It's Owen Benjamin, and he says, the world is not built for tall people. It's like really a curse. people give tall people respect, but it's like really a curse because like nothing's made for you.
You know, I've got to say, I'm now gonna have to look that up. You said his name was Owen Benjamin.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I definitely agree with that. That's
Yeah.
having to duck through. Louisiana. We have a bunch of these old homes, and the doorways are like 6 foot.
Uh-huh.
You have to duck shove them. It's a pain in the butt.
Oh, so
Or-
you're pretty tall yourself, huh?
Yeah, 6'2", 6'3".
Oh wow, yeah, cool, yeah, yeah. I'm just right there at like 5'11" and a half. I didn't quite make it.
I wish I was, like just capped out at 6 foot. I wouldn't have to be, bending to get through, car doors and stuff like that.
Yeah. It is a little bit of a chore. I used to drive this old '92 RS Camaro, and it was a big chore getting in and out of that thing as being a bigger person because you're really having to torque your body and stuff to get in and out of it. So I made up at that point. I like trucks.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I went with the Impala was the first thing I did before I offered the guy any money for it was I just tried to sit in it.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. It looks like a small car until you realize, in person, it's the landing.
Yeah, those things are boats, aren't they?
Yeah, and they've got the weight to go with it. 2 tons curbside.
Wow. Yeah. They're beasts. Yeah, in the 1970s, one of the things I love about those vehicles is all the chrome on them, all the chrome trim and everything like that. Did you?
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite things about them. Those big shiny chrome bumpers, and then the little pinstripe of chrome down the side.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure other drivers hate it with light reflecting into their eyes, but it looks nice.
Yeah. Did you have to take all that trim off to do all your body work and everything?
I haven't fully started on the body work, only the hood so far, but I am going to have to pull all of it off to sand and prime everything.
Yeah.
And sadly, there's just a few pieces of that trim missing, and man, OEM stuff is expensive.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's it was a lot of fun taking all that off the. I remember taking it all off the 76 and then getting it all put back on and stuff like that is quite a process because they put so much on there. They put so much of that chrome trim on there, but it makes them look like really cool. It makes them really stand out.
Yeah, and it seems to me like with the hood was painted, I had to remove the chrome trim from the back of that, and that's sort of the finishing touch whenever you're done with the project is you get to put that chrome trim back on.
Yeah, man. Yep. That's when you're pretty much done with getting all the painting and stuff done. So that's cool. How did your paint job come out on the hood? Did it come out pretty well?
It turned out a lot better than I was expecting. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
The hood, it's just bent and rusted. This was sort of just a temporary and for me to practice before I actually start on the body of the car. Okay. Yeah, I learned a bunch of lessons from it. Bondo, you have to sand that Bondo glass smooth before you paint.
Yeah.
And with the spraying the paint on, I realized you have to have air pressure a little higher than I was expecting. But in person, for Rust-Oleum, I would never guess that it is. It's smooth as glass. There's no imperfections that I can see in the paint. If you need to paint a car and do it cheap but a pretty good job, I'd recommend the Rust-Oleum paint job. Rising.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's just get your basic paint sprayer set up and a compressor, I guess. You're using just a air compressor and the paint sprayer set up, and you just load it up and go to town.
Yeah, it's the air compressor I picked up at a garage sale for, I think it was $50. It's a 35-gallon Coleman compressor. I got a new, I don't even know what the name of it is. I just know it online as the Purple Harbor Freight Gun. It's $13, and it works just fine for my needs.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's very cool. Yeah, that's something I haven't ventured into myself is trying to do any paint jobs or anything like that. But seeing you just go out, did you have any problems with like dust or anything getting on it? Because it looked like you were outside without a cover or anything like that. Did you notice any issues with that?
Surprisingly, no. And I think the reason why is because it was so hot out that day. It was probably 85 degrees if I had to guess. So the paint practically half cured within about 20 minutes. I'd recommend if you were doing something you really cared about, which I'm going to do for the rest of the car, is with the part up on the sawhorses, take a garden hose, spray down the ground. I'm trying to keep that dust down. But as long as you have low humidity, high heat, it takes that paint on pretty quick. Stick.
Okay. That's really good tips. So that's great. So SL Gamer Guy, man, it's been a pleasure getting to talk to you today, and I really appreciate you coming on the show and it being last minute.
Thanks very much for having me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're welcome anytime, and really interested in watching your projects as they evolve on here, and it's really cool seeing you on steemian and dtube, and welcome to this whole cryptocurrency experiment, man.
Yeah, it's been great, and yet again, thank you very much for having me on your show. And it's really cool getting to see this community that's still growing and becoming bigger and better.
Yeah, it's right at the beginning of this thing, and it's brand new technology, and people are still trying to figure out how everything's going to work, and there's lots of solutions being developed out there. So, I think Steemit and this community, it's not really the company or the people that created the cryptocurrency. They got the ball rolling, but in this community, it seems like a lot of people are actually taking the reins themselves and building this place into, what they want to see. So there's a lot of great community involvement here, and it's exciting times, I think. So thank you again, and I really appreciate you being here once again for the show. And yeah, man, looking forward to getting to chat more and cool things that are going to come up in the future. So if there's anything else that you'd like to leave with the audience, where people can find you, you said you have a YouTube channel as well, right?
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. I have a Twitter and Instagram and dtube. Name is the same, SL Gamer Guy for everything. Very cool, man. Very cool. You got it going on, brother, and appreciate it. And thank you for making it on. Thank you for joining us, guys. Sorry for all the issues today, and I'm gonna keep getting better at this, and definitely look into getting a desktop that Rondon was talking about. So thank you for joining us. Shout out to Inertia, Patient Zero, Peachy Mod, Rondon, Shivo35. Thank you guys for joining today in the chat room, and we will see you guys next week for another edition of the Meadows and Makers podcast. I'm going to play you guys out with Awake by Define and Junk Feathers. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next week, guys.